Hello. I believe we are live. Checking my stats. All right. Fantastic. Yes.
Can I watch YouTube on your phone?
No, not right now. I'm getting started my show. Go upstairs, talk to your mom. Hello, everybody. So excited to be here on a wonderful Saturday morning, and welcome to the Jocular Junction. I am your host, Jordan, with Silent PH in the middle, and we're going to talk about a bunch of tabletop RPG news today. I am very excited to be here and chat with you. This is a fun little show we do every Saturday. Sometimes it's pre-recorded, sometimes it's live like this. So if you are new here, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and come check us out Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Or 9 a.m. Pacific. That's what it is. And if you are listening via the podcast, or if you're listening via YouTube, I wanted to do some like show questions and just answer questions. So I made a Google forum link. So if you are interested, you can click that and leave a message or a question for the show, and we can, I'll read it on the air and we can talk about it. And I really like that some newer podcasts I've been listening to have like, you can submit audio clips. So I'm going to try and figure out something like that as well, because it's kind of fun to listen to people's reactions and stuff like that. So going into all of this, we're going to jump into some 2024 Player's Handbook news. There were Monk, Sorcerer, Cleric, Bard, and then Dragon Designs was the Friday one. And I think this finishes up all of the classes that they were going to talk about. My takeaway is that Monk seemed very complex, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the Monk. So if you go to D&D Beyond, they have they have a link to the video, but they also have a whole article here on what's changed. And so a lot of it is like quality of life changes. So we have martial arts die at 1d6, goes up to 1d12. Disengage is a bonus action for free, or you can spend a key point to disengage and dodge, which is different than before. My cat's meowing. And then once per long rest, you gain all your focus points when you roll initiative. You can reduce, damage of melee or ranged attacks you can reduce with bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage by 1d10 plus dexterity. That is actually a feature of one of the Monk subclasses in my Planegea game. And it's been fine. It's been really good. Like, it's interesting how the reaction limit of one reaction per turn can really limit those abilities. So they feel very, very powerful, but then you can only do it once. And then you have to wait a full turn. So it's been good, though. It's really interesting. So I think that's a good quality of life change. But like overall, it feels more complex, and like I can do more for less, and then I have more access to my Monk focus points. So I don't know. I'm not really sure on this. It is very player focused, which leads me to believe that the game Dungeons & Dragons 2024 is feeling more and more like a push to the MMO crowd, or just video game crowds in general. Like, look at all the cool things you could do. But then I talked to some dungeon masters, and they're just like, I don't want to run that. Like, that looks so complicated, or I don't know, like, we're not making the dungeon masters excited for things like this. And so that's where I am a little disheartened with 2024 D&D, because although a lot of these features look cool, and I would love to play some of these classes, I don't see myself wanting to run these classes, you know? And so unless I have a group of people that are very dedicated and know their classes, and I don't have to explain a bunch of things to them, like for new players, I don't want to touch this. It doesn't, but I would love to play it because I am that player that wants to like learn all of the things. As somebody who played the original Elemental Monk, because I like playing the classes that people don't like, the classes that are not very good, to be like, there's got to be something redeeming about this. And the original Elemental Monk was not good. Like I really, really wanted to make it work, and I tried really hard, but it just was not that much fun. This new Elemental Monk is very good, and I could see this is a good redesign of everything, and I think this will be a lot of fun. It feels Avatar-y, The Last Airbender, but I think that's what people wanted, so super excited for that. And then the other big thing was, the Bard. The Bard has limited magical secrets, but more spell options. And it made me think that they probably have more spell options than a wizard. And a wizard is the, like, I should know all of the spells kind of a thing. So it really made me want magical secrets to be available to wizards in some way. I'm wondering if, well, we'll see when the actual book comes out, because I have no idea. But yeah, I don't know. I'm like super curious about that. So originally, when you got magical secrets, you could pick like 2 spells from any spell list, and then they were bard spells. And now you pick one of 3 spell lists, so like bard, wizard, cleric, and I think that's it. And then from there, you get access to all of those spells. So I could take any wizard or any cleric spell as a bard moving forward because of that magical secrets. But it eliminates things like it eliminates a lot of spells that are very class specific and class defining. So a lot of the ranger spells that are very like, this is what makes a ranger, or what makes a warlock, and you're now allowing the monk or a paladin, and you're now allowing the bard to take that and basically do it better. Like, one of my favorite things with magical secrets originally in 2014 D&D was to take paladin spells, because paladins, even the mid-tier spells for paladin, were so good because paladins didn't get them until they were like 18 or 19. And now as a bard, you could take them and become like, have this really awesome spell that paladins just will never get to cast, because a lot of classes or a lot of games don't get that high. It removed a lot of that. So it's a give and take. I'm not really sure how I feel about it. I don't really know. It's interesting. And then going back on the video game thing, like, there is a lot of pre-purchase bundle stuff for D&D Beyond, and I know this is how a business works and they're really advertising it, but they're making D&D feel, from my perspective, as a video game. And I don't know if I like that. Because again, like, I am very excited as a player, but I'm not excited to run this, and you need people to run this. So we'll see. But I mean, there's people that love, not bashing Pathfinder, but like, Pathfinder's complex, and I didn't want to learn it and run it because I don't like that level of complexity. And people run Pathfinder all the time. They love it. So who knows? Quest from the Infinite Staircase. This kind of went under the radar for me. I saw some other people talking about it, and I'm like, do I have Quest from the Infinite Staircase on D&D Beyond? And lo and behold, I do. So it is out on D&D Beyond. It is, I don't know if it's out in print yet, but it's got to be soon. If it's out on D&D Beyond, it's like at least within the 2-week window. So this is available now. It is 6 old modules that have been reincarnated into 5e. And it kind of follows around that there is this like djinn that is living in the Infinite Staircase, and he calls you in to perform tasks because of wish fulfillment, things like that. I was looking around, and I mean, this looks fun, and I like adventure anthologies like this. So if you go to like the Lost City here, it gives you the background of everything. One thing that I thought was interesting is there's usually a chapter called Using the Infinite Staircase. Like, if you want to loop all of these together, here's how to do it. Really like that. But I also like this Setting the Adventure. So if you, I scrolled too far. Here we are, setting the adventure. So if you are playing in a very specific thing, like, oh, I'm playing in Dragonlance or a Forgotten Realms game, then here's like where you could set it. So it's like, oh, the ruins of this place might lie in the dunes of the Anauroch Desert on the continent of Faerun. This one was interesting, though, because I don't think I've seen them mention Mystara in a game before. And I feel like Mystara is this property that they own that they just have never really done anything with. But here Mystara is here. And so then if we go back to some of the others, that was the Lost City. If you go to like When a Star Falls, and scroll down, there's, hey, you could set this in Eberron or the Forgotten Realms or Greyhawk, and then even more. And so even ones like the Last Caverns of Sojkant, this one is specifically a Greyhawk adventure, but it's like, here's how to set it in Eberron, and here's how to set it in the Forgotten Realms. And it's just like a location-based thing. Like, you're going to keep a lot of the, I don't know, a lot of the adventure's the same. It's just like, how can I incorporate this dungeon into my world, or into the setting that I'm playing? And I wish they would do more of that. I think that's kind of fun and interesting. Another cool thing about this is that the Crystal Cave, I went through all of these this morning. The Crystal Cave has Theros, and I haven't seen anything. Remember Theros, guys? Like, I didn't think that we were gonna support some of that stuff anymore. So this is cool. And Theros was the more campaign setting-ish of a lot of the material that came out. Like, Strixhaven wasn't really a setting so much as an adventure wrapped in a location that was like very specific. Like, I don't feel like I could use that in a lot of other games, but Theros I could totally use. Like, I thought that was kind of interesting. So Ravnica could also be a nice setting that you could plop in here, but I think Ravnica and Eberron kind of overlap sometimes. Maybe not. But I thought that was cool. That was the only mention of Theros that I saw going through all of these, but pretty fun stuff. I might pick this up. I don't have it yet other than on D&D Beyond. One of the interesting magical items, though, was Daoud's Wondrous Lanthorn. And this is a magic item that I've talked about because I've covered the Caverns of Sojkant in various lore videos. And so it was fun to see like a 5e version of this, and how it is powered and all of the cool things that it can do. And then you have these lenses that you can kind of like put in, and it does different magical abilities. So very powerful magical item tied to Tasha, and she's part of the whole Lost Caverns. So pretty cool. If you're interested in Quest from the Infinite Staircase, it's out. The Ennie nominations are out, and voting opened yesterday, and it runs through July 21st. And I wanted to do a caveat here and talk about, with the Ennies coming out, I said on, I think it was the last episode 6. Yeah. I said like, oh, the judges have to, like they promote stuff and they do things like that. And I don't really know exactly how that worked. So I want to retract what I said, because I did have a commenter say like, no, submissions are from publishers and authors and content creators. So you submit to this and you do X, Y, and Z. And with that submission, the judges whittle it down, I suppose. And so I need to like look back at that and kind of understand how it works, because they are trying to be very transparent. It's not like a super hidden nomination process. I think they would get too much flack if they were just like, yeah, like we're the elite authority and we're not going to tell you how we do things. So you can go to their website and figure it out. But I wanted to retract what I said, because I don't actually know as well. And some people called me out on it, and good for you calling me out on it. But if you want to vote, here's how to vote. You go here to the vote.any awards, and then before voting, like familiarize yourself with this stuff, read these instructions, and then when you click this, it'll show you like adventure long form. You can do a no vote, or you can do a 1 through 5. And so 1 is your first choice, 2 is your second choice. So if it's like, I really liked the Bloom, Delta Green, God's Teeth, and Hecna, I could vote, you know, like 1, 2, and 3. But maybe I didn't read Call of Cthulhu, or I don't really care about that adventure. I shouldn't put 4 and 5 in there. I should just put no vote, because if you're not familiar with a product, they say like, don't vote, just pick the ones that you are. So maybe it's just one person or one product. Like, I really like Shadow Dark, and so I'm going to select Shadow Dark is number 1, and I'm not going to vote for any others. That doesn't mean that Shadow Dark will get less. That actually helps Shadow Dark a lot. So vote for the ones that you want. I would recommend Mapcrow has a cool book out, and then I would also recommend Dave Thawamore. He is a YouTuber and does really good indie RPG stuff, and I voted for those guys because I like it. They're really, really awesome. So check out the Ennies. I'm excited for the rest of that. And then speaking of Ennies, they usually announce the Ennies at GenCon. I was not able to go to, I will not be able to go to GenCon this year, which I'm very sad about, because it's just getting too expensive for hotels. Like, I kind of like asked a whole bunch of people where I could crash or if we could split things, but it didn't work out. So that, coupled with the plane ticket, coupled with just food and being in Indianapolis for 5 days, 6 days, it just got too expensive. So I'm taking this one off, but I am hoping to go to PAX Unplugged, because that was the other convention that I really wanted to go to that has a good RPG vibe that I have not been to in the past. So hopefully I will be going to that. But no Gen Con for me, which is sad. There is a Daggerheart open beta, and they published the final playtest for the beta. So if you're interested in Daggerheart, I have been following it in the sense that I watch some update videos here and there, but I haven't been super interested in Daggerheart as a whole. I think I was more interested in Candela Obscura than I was in this game. But again, this is one of the D&D killers that we keep talking about, that the world is putting out there. We'll see if it actually does it. But Daggerheart is, final playtest is out. You can just log in and claim it. It's free. And if anything, it's kind of fun to have, just to, if you're I don't know, like if you're writing a lot of RPGs, it's kind of fun to see design processes and what changed and why it changed and stuff. So I recommend that. And then this 20th, not today, but next Saturday, is Dungeon Crawl Classics Day. I'm very excited for that. And I will be running the Queen of Elfland's Son, which is a level 1 adventure for my local gaming store. And I'm very excited for that. It'll be a lot of fun. I just like bringing people to play Dungeon Crawl Classics. So for Free RPG Day, I ran a 0 level funnel, and we had a couple people that had just never played retro inspired, or never played anything other than 5e. So it was really, really fun to have those people at the table. And then I had another person at the table that was, he had played like BX D&D way back in the day. He was much older than me. And he was just like floored, like, this is the coolest system. Like, I want to run this for my grandkids because I want them to see what BX D&D was like, like old D&D and how lethal it was and stuff. So he was all like excited. And then we told him about DCC Day and he's like, what? So very excited for that. And it's this 20th. And so there's an adventure that they have for DCC Day. I think I saw on their website. Let's go to Goodman Games really quick. I think I think they sold out of stuff, but you can go to goodmangames.com, goodman-games.com, and find a DCC Day store locator to see if people are participating in Dungeon Crawl Classics Day. July 11th they posted that all of the DCC Day kits sold out, which is a Return of the Starless Sea, like a hardback. Maybe it's not hardback, maybe it's just a special cover of that adventure. And then DCC Day number 5, Gods of the Earth, and a adventure pack. So those are the those are the, I don't know. There's always the free pack, and then I think Gods of the Earth you buy. So, but that's what I'm always excited for, is to get the adventure, because I like some of the adventures, obviously. So check it out. I want to talk about crowdfunding for a little bit. So Moonbeam, I don't know if you guys have been hearing about Moonbeam, but they're crowdfunding it right now. And I should back up. The goal of Moonbeam is to be a streaming service a la like Twitch, but to give more money to creators. And I think they want to shift the balance of power from like YouTube and Twitch. So the idea of Moonbeam is that I will be able to stream tabletop RPG content, I think is their like initial intention, and then have a lot of the proceeds go back to the people that are actually building this content. And then they're also creating some funds for like scholarship. I shouldn't say scholarships, I guess grants or something. They're creating a pool of money that if I go to Moonbeam and I'm like, hey, I want to create a show that does this, they'll work with me on how to create it to make it like, I don't know, more better for their platform in a way and for their messages. And then you jump forward and you do it and you get paid. And so creators get paid. The idea of paying people to do streaming content on the platform is to elevate the quality and what have you. And there's so many people out there that like want to stream, and I don't know, Twitch is not fantastic. My walls are falling apart behind me. I need to get new tape. So I don't know much about it other than that, which I guess is a lot. Looks like they've raised $74,000. This is project 2 of 6, it says. So I think they have more coming, like another backer kit and another one. And they're just using this money to kind of, I don't know. Like, it's kind of interesting. I'm really, really curious about this. So they have a lot of game companies that are with them. So Monte Games, Ninth Level Games, Kobold Press, Evil Hat Games, GenCon, which is not a game company, but GenCon wants to be a part of this. And Anthony Joyce Riviera, he's written a lot of DM's Guild material and what have you. So like he's in the tabletop sphere a whole bunch. And I think he just saw like, hey, we should stop taking advantage of people and do this. 100% of contributions on Moonbeam go to the creators. That feels great if you're a creator, but of contributions. Okay, I was trying to say like how are they making money? So they'll probably make money with ads or something like that. I'm not really sure, but like, okay, contributions. So if I donate $1 on a stream, that dollar goes directly to the creator. All right, I was gonna go on a rant, but I read that wrong, so I'm glad I reread that, because I was like, how are you making money? I don't understand. But no, that's really great, because a lot of times, like if you become a YouTube member or if you become a subscriber on Twitch, I think it's like over half goes to Amazon or Google. So it would be nice if you got like the full benefit of it. And companies like Patreon are the same way. It's not half. Patreon was kind of groundbreaking by setting a limit of like 5%. But I think as they became a publicly traded company and needed to make more profit and things like that, there are certain people who are grandfathered in at like 5%, but there's a lot of people who are not. And so I don't know the current percentage now, but yeah, kind of interesting. So on top of this, game companies like Monte Games, they started their similar Kickstarters, and this one is called the Anywhere Door. And this is going to be a community hub for Monte Games in Moonbeam is the idea. So Moonbeam is this big thing, and then they're going to have like, here's the Monte Games section. So if I'm interested in watching Cypher stream content, I can go there and watch Cypher games or Numenera games and things like that. And what this does is they're raising money. They want a $15,000 goal to create that scholarship fund to basically promote companies to make content for the website. So with that $15,000, if I'm like, hey, I want to run this Cypher system game that I wrote, blah, 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 they'll be like, okay, cool. You have to do it on Moonbeam and you have to do it here. And like, there's going to be stipulations if we give you this money, but we want to support you in creating that content just for Moonbeam. It still feels like it's a way out. Like we don't have a Moonbeam website as far as I know. Like it's just this backer kit stuff. So this money is going somewhere to empower it, but I don't know where, you know, if that makes sense. Like I want to see a website. I want to see a stream, but maybe we have to wait a little longer for things like that. But I think it's cool that Monte Cook Games is doing it. This also is interesting to think about because as I look at Caverns of Thracia's at 460,000, there isn't the same financial push for a streaming show as there is for a product. So with crowdfunders, if it's a board game or an RPG or things like that, an RPG supplement, a lot of times people will look at it and say, hey, I'm going to back this because I really want to support the product, but more so, I want that book. I want that gold foil edition, blah, blah, blah. And it's considered from a consumer perspective, I believe, of like, I'm just pre-purchasing something and then I'll get it. For Moonbeam, it feels like I want that to happen to make everything a better place, but I'm not getting anything specifically out of it. So I'm not donating $10 and then that $10 allows me to watch 10 hours free when it goes live. And streaming is always weird. And I remember the Acquisitions Incorporated, they did a Kickstarter to raise money and they're penny arcade. Like, I feel like they are very well known in the internet sphere and they barely raised the amount of money they needed, which was maybe, I don't remember. I was one of the backers and I can't remember. But like I backed for an amount of money because I really wanted their show to be successful and I wanted to see more adventures with Jim Dark Magic and Omen Drawn and things like that. And I think I got like a poster in the mail, which was really fun. It was like one of the campaign rewards. But other than that, they released that on YouTube. There wasn't anything tangible that I received other than that. And so I don't know. I don't know if crowdfunding, this is exactly what crowdfunding is for, something like Moonbeam. But I look at it and I'm like, is that going to be successful? Because I don't think consumers treat crowdfunding the way of, I want to support this product, I want to make it happen. I think consumers treat it as this is a pre-purchase. And the idea of if Moonbeam's successful, well, then I'll just sign up for it. I don't need to like pay $1,000 to then be able to sign up for it. Kind of interesting. So Caverns of Thracia is in full swing. This is also on BackerKit and they have raised $474,000 now. I was talking about this a while ago where I just feel like it's too much going on, but this is there's a lot going on here. So you can get classic hardcover or limited edition Minotaur hide cover, which is really cool. And then of course they have this for 5e, but they also have this for Dungeon Crawl Classics. I want to support this, but I also have so many of these books at this point that this would strictly be a collector's item for me. And so maybe I still will. I don't know. I don't need to get the foil covers though. But then on top of this, we have, here's Caverns of Thracia extra books, and we have t-shirts, and then more DCC custom dice sets for all of this. It feels like a lot, but maybe this is what you have to do in the modern day of BackerKit and stuff. Like you have to showcase a whole bunch of things to get people excited to back. And then this is actually not related to Caverns of Thracia. This is just a bunch of hardcover compilations that you can pick up. So if you want a bunch of adventures in a single book, here you go. Pretty fun. They have some video previews and stuff. I think this is obviously going to fund. It's going to be a big hit. It'll be lots of fun. So our biggest crowdfunding ever is Goodman Games coming out. And then Tanaris by Dragori Games. I don't have the books next to me because I was not thinking, but I don't know if you guys remember Tanaris. This was a campaign setting that came out. Well, it's just out now, but Tanaris, they backed a couple of feature videos on my main channel, and I did some reviews of them. And it's a really interesting world involving like dragons on the moon, and they kind of like fly down every once in a while. And they have built Tanaris, this whole fantasy world with mythology, around a board game that they run, or that they produce. And then they, you know, like every board game company, they're just like, why don't we turn this into a 5e product as well, since 5e is so popular? So that's what they did. Not belittling it by any means. I think it's really, really cool. But they sent me the dice, this mini, the 3 books, not all of these monies, but like a bunch of other stuff. So I have a lot of reading to do. I want to read up on this. But if I'm remembering correctly, one of the cool things you can do is link yourself with a dragon, and then you and this dragon have like a pool of shared hit points, and it's kind of like you're spirit bonded with them, and your party basically has like a pet dragon that runs around with them. So kind of cool. It comes with a player's guide, a campaign source book, and then an adventure. The book's really, really pretty. And then there was another thing that I didn't realize, but they're doing a GM-less pack. So I got this big spiral bound book that's in the corner there. And with that book, you can pick a location, you flip through it. There's all of these different adventures. And then on top of that, there are cards that help you run the monsters and stuff. So hypothetically, the book runs the game for you, and you play with your friends, and you can have a character that you're playing with. There's still somebody that has to like be a dungeon master in the sense that you're reading the GM-less book. But I am very curious about that, and if it's fun, because a similar mechanic exists for Gloomhaven, and I think that is a direction that 5e tabletop could really benefit from, because there's so many dungeon masters that also want to play. So we'll see. But this is out, and it's cool. And I just kind of, nothing about this is sponsored. They sent me a big box that I was like, oh, I forgot about this. It's so cool. So I wanted to bring it up and talk about it. Moving on to designs and inspirations. I've been working on a game called Modular G6, which is a classless D6 RPG system. Actually, let me open up. I'm going to open it up in another window, and then I'll bring it over there. My notes for Modular G6, and you guys can get a sneak peek at them. If you are on Patreon, then I already have this on Patreon, and you can check it out there. If you're not on Patreon, then it'll eventually, once I clean up the language a little bit, and I want to add some, not some art, but I want to add something to it. I want to just clean it up a little bit before I put it out on itch.io, but eventually that is the goal, is to put it out there. So this is Modular G6. So MD6, and it's a dice D6 based RPG, originally classless, but then I started listening to a podcast about class, and it's called X-Ray RPG. I recommend it. And then I was thinking about a lot of this stuff and how I think I'm making it overly complicated by having it be classless, where you just pick abilities that you think your character want, or that you as a player want, and that fit your character, and then you build this custom class and you go out and you play. And as I was thinking about it, I was like, what would be really interesting is, instead of doing picking randomly, if the game designer picked for you and said, here's a wizard, here's a fighter, here's a thief, and then at the end of the book we say, by the way, instead of like multi-classing like in traditional Dungeons and Dragons, just pick 5 modules and plug them into your character, and then you've made your own custom character. So like, do you want to be a Dark Knight and you want to do this and this and this? Then pick necrotic energy with like big sword and armor, and then you can make that character. So that's kind of the idea, which then is causing me to go through and rewrite a bunch of stuff, because originally I was like, this is all classless and you don't have to, don't pick anything, just do this. And now I'm like, oh, and see, I still have personality, even though we changed it to charisma. I'll change that right now. We have all these ideas. And so now I need to go back and basically create classes is kind of the idea. So with this, I've been reaching out to the people on my Discord. So if you are interested in maybe playing Modular G6 with me, I want to run some playtests soon. And so hop onto the Jocular Junction Discord and keep an eye out there for when I start posting some date and times, and we'll try to get some people in there. But yeah, the basics of the game is that a success is on a 6 and you roll multiple dice trying to get a 6, but certain abilities or class features or modules that you install lower the threshold for failure. So you succeed on a 6, but then because you're really skilled at this, you also succeed on a 5 or a 6 or a 4, 5, or a 6. And so that's kind of how it's like, I want to be better at this while not being better at that. And then on a whole, we're just rolling D6s. But yeah, I'm not reinventing the wheel by any means, but I am having a lot of fun putting this together. Magic and spells and things like that, hexes and charms. It is getting not overly complex, but I definitely need to make like a beginner intro section of it. And I think I'm going to add classes, and then the advanced players classless system. Either that will come out later, or it'll be part of this and just be like, if you guys play this enough and you're bored with it, then we're going to shift over to you just build your own character using modules and like a point system on how powerful the module is, So that was a big thing with, do I want classes? I want classless. Do I want classless? And although I like the idea of creating my own class, I think to get people to play the game and enjoy it, you need to have classes. So people are like, oh, like I know that I like rogue types. I want to play a rogue. Well, here you go. Play a rogue. So I mentioned Dave earlier, Dave Thaumavor. I think I'm pronouncing his name incorrectly, so I apologize, Dave. He has been doing a lot of reviews on YouTube for a long time of various RPGs, and this one he did a review of the setting book for the Forbidden Lands. So not the system, not the Mutant Year Zero system that Forbidden Lands uses, and a lot of that game company, they use it for a lot of things. But the setting specifically and like how it came to be. And as somebody that likes lore and setting, and I'm playing in a Forbidden Lands game, it's fun to see a lot of things I didn't know about the Forbidden Lands setting and how the setting has been expanded. There's not a lot of adventures written for it, but it really is this super interesting sandbox to run around in. And I would highly encourage you to
Forbidden Lands is a fan.
And go check out Dave's website, or this video, not his website, but go check it out and subscribe to him. And just like, if you're interested in stuff like this, it's really creative how they came up with this world and started with like art and writing and kind of combining stuff like that. So good job, Dave. That was a good video. The games that I am currently running, so I guess I'll jump forward to Forbidden Lands. So speaking of Forbidden Lands, we're taking a pause on Forbidden Lands. My game master who runs Forbidden Lands is now also running a Star Wars game, and I get the impression that he's more excited for that than he is for Forbidden Lands. So he was asking me if I wanted to run something, and I said I did, that I would be willing to run, here's X systems, but I'm also running a Planegea game that I'm writing. So if it could be something that has modules, that would be good. And he wanted to play Dungeon Crawl Classics Dying Earth. And everyone in the group gave a big thumbs up. So tomorrow, Sunday, is when we meet. We meet twice a month. And we're going to do all of the Dungeon Crawl Classics Dying Earth modules is the goal. Or most of them. I think we're going to go play through like 5 or 6. So we'll see how they like it. But I think the players, they all really like retro clone stuff. Big OSE and big Shadow Dark vibes from that group. And it's my personal mission to play through all of the Dungeon Crawl Classics Dying Earth content that I kickstarted. So I think this is a win-win. I'm going to end up replaying 2 of modules that I've already ran, but then I can replace the level 3 one I ran with a different level 3 one and then move on to level 4, 5, and 6. So I'm excited. We're just going to like play this adventure. You're finished. Now you're level 1. Next time we play level 1 people get through this, you're finished. Now you're level 2. And we're just going to play 6 adventures to get to level 5 or 6. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to that. That's tomorrow. Planegea is today, and I need to finish prepping for that. So my players are running through the Venom Abyss, and the Venom Abyss is kind of like the Underdark, but it's really the shadowy area at the base of this volcano at the center of Planegea. And it's more of like under the tree's canopy where sunlight can't reach as well as normal. And so there's lots of creepy crawlies and monsters that are down there. And the Drow live there, so that's the Underdark reference. There's also lots of other stuff going on, but my players are down there to get divine ivory idols that were stolen from their god. They currently have 2 of them, and they have to get 2 more. And so now that we're stopped at a certain thing, I wanted to figure out, well, rather than just throwing another monster at them to fight, how can I make exploration more interesting in the Venom Abyss? And that's difficult from my perspective because I don't have a map of the Venom Abyss. And I think that's one of the reasons I like running pre-written adventures, because I like the amount of information they give me that helps me visualize the world that I'm in. And not that I'm an uncreative person, but I don't write a lot of stories. And when I make adventures, I like to grab a bunch of stuff and kind of like hodgepodge it together. So in doing that, I've taken a couple of fun maps that I own that are Underdark-ish, and I think I'm going to just be like, okay, here's my template, here's the map that we're going to run around on, and I'm going to put like various strategic places here, here, and here, and then we'll let my players explore, and that's what they're doing. So that's kind of what I'm prepping today, in finding either the steps to the next statue, or the steps to finding out like who's behind all of this and why did the Drow attack and things like that. So there's a couple of secrets and mysteries that they're wading through, and we'll see if they bite on any of those. One of them, the last idol I gave them, allows you to cast Gate, but only to the world of Nod. And Nod is the Feywild Shadowfell aspect of Planegea. And specifically, this gate will take you to the realm of nightmares, Nod, the land of nightmares. And part of me, I was kind of a throwaway. I was like, well, I don't know, maybe they'll go to Nod, maybe they won't, who cares? But they were like, oh, I bet we're going to have to go to Nod. Like, they were so excited when they had this, like, oh, we're going to have to open that portal. Like, we're going to have to use this. And that's one of your things where when your players get excited about it, you're just like, well, you are now, because you're excited about it, and that's really cool. So I am going to somehow incorporate that they need to go to Nod for the final bit of this mission, I think, and that will be the big ending to this campaign. So we'll see. But yeah, we're having a lot of fun, and hearkening back to 2024 D&D, we have a player playing the Beast Heart from MCDM, and it's one of those things where complexity, again, reading the Beast Heart, I'm like, this is the coolest class. I love this so much. I can't wait to play this, da-da-da. And then when we actually play it at the table, it's not overpowered. It's not all this other stuff, but it's so complex. And that player has all kinds of like, I've got to track my ferocity. I've got to do this. And they're constantly like looking at all these numbers and what's my to hit for this and what's this. And then I feel like they finish a turn and then they have to take an entirely other turn for their pet. And it's been like I, as a DM, again, I was like, it's good that he's learning this because I don't want to learn it because I don't have the time. I'm like running the rest of the game. And that's how I feel that 2024, that's how the monk made me feel, the 2024 monk video, where I'm like, whew, I don't want to run that. Like, I want my player to know how to do it, and I don't want to help them. So I hope that, yeah, and we'll hopefully monsters are more balanced, because I don't know how I would stop a lot of the things that they're doing. So kind of interesting. But that's my plan. I'm going to prep Planegea today. DCC Dying Earth funnel tomorrow, and then next Saturday is DCC day. Lots of Dungeon Crawl Classics in my life. And that is our show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for the viewers who came out live today. Excited to see you. Jesse, you said DCC day. Thank you so much. I'm excited that you're here. Again, if you guys want to become YouTube members, that really helps me out. Or if you want to subscribe on the Patreon, or just share this episode with a friend. And with all of that, I will be back possibly next week. I think will be a pre-recorded show just because of DCC day. We'll see. But if not, there will be a show and I'll be here. New video coming out on Wednesday on this channel involving magical hats for Dungeon Crawl Classics. So subscribe to that. And I will see you guys all in the next video. Take care.